Noble Drew Ali had a book with the number 7 on it, and had they call it the Holy Quran. And the stuff he had in there, I said, "Good God Almighty, that boy, he may not. Allah may have mercy on him. He may not." Remember, we said that some of the people are so far out there that, like, if you like way out there, you're not responsible. If you get old, you're not responsible for if you can't, you get feeble, you can't do certain stuff. Them niggas, those people were so close to slavery and buffoonery, Allah may have mercy on them. After all, Queen of England called him noble, and the Sultan of Morocco called him Ali and gave him a charter to teach Islam over here. Hey, what you gonna do with that? Noble. I ain't gonna call the rest of it because I don't want to be arguing with nobody. But it's serious. The stuff is so, I'm telling you. Anybody ever read Lost Found Lesson number 1 and 2? Never at all. You know, if you kill 4 devils, you get a stick pin for you. Anyway, you ever heard of EU? Europe. EU mean caves and hillsides, and rope is a rope to bind in.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard you bring that up. That's the only time I've heard it. Yeah,
But that's in the lesson. EU mean caves and hillsides, and rope is a rope to bind in.
I wouldn't want to like think too much on it. Trying to make sense of it.
What? Y'all got to get a look. I'm telling you.
I wouldn't want to think too hard.
Y'all ever heard of the civilization stake? They put, talking about Jesus on the cross. No. See, the people were so much savage, they put a stake behind them and tied up one hand and left the other hand so they could eat like human beings. Because they didn't have no sense. They just eat. And you know where the word pussy come from? You know why Euros cross their leg? Because it used to be so much filth down there. It come from the word pussy, from pus. Y'all didn't know that? Of course. Now, people that believe that, you think Allah is going to punish them and they didn't know no better? You never know, man. Allah is Ghafur Rahim. He said, boy, y'all was really dangled up. I ain't going to punish you for that. I'm not, people that told you that, I'm going to hook them up, they going to be burning for 66, what is the world going to, it's going to burn for 600 years, 300 years and 600 for it to cool off, 1,000 years, yeah. This earth is going to burn a while, and it's going to take the other, whatever it burned, it's going to add up to 1,000 years. It's going to take that much time. Then we're not going to talk about the 1,500 bombing planes that drill into the earth a mile and then explode. And the mothership, all of that stuff, don't worry about that. Boy, the National Negro in 87, he went to a program, and I'll get back to he went to a program in Iraq because Saddam Hussein was inviting all the crackpots. So he went over there, and then on the way back, and he was talking, he made that statement and people are radical, not accepting all that stuff, and intellectual, so he said, yeah, I went over there when I was on the way back. I got, what is it when you get zapped up? He got sucked up on the mothership. Beamed up on the mothership. That's what he had. And there he met, of course, Astaghfirullah, but he met Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. The Lamb was there, Elijah, you know. He was on the mothership. And he's still alive now running around here. He was alive. And I heard it. I might still have the tape. May have to bring it out. This is one of the old cassettes. And people was asking me about it. You know, intellectual black people that was revolutionary. What this nigga talking about, man? You follow that? I said, man, I don't follow none of that stuff. It's hilarious. You know, because they don't know what kind of moves. So you got to tell them. Anyway, but that's the kind of things we've been swimming in. That's why we have a special job here. Why would the people accept such way out foolishness as far as Islam? It's because, number one, they don't want to do a whole lot of work. Number two, it's just like John 3:16. God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, whosoever believe in him shall have everlasting life. So the Negro on the Salaf, all they got to do is accept that one hadith. That when you see these people here, you part of the saved sect. I think, yeah, isn't it to say you're part of the saved sect? Yeah, they not. You're saved. They might as well be Christians, right? We part of the saved sect because we wear our pants floods. I don't wear them because we call them floods. We used to laugh at people that wore short pants and white socks. You would be put in the penitentiary. Michael Jackson used to wear white. I said, what's wrong with him? Good God Almighty. You know, and wear floods, you have to wear your pants long with a nice crease down there and all that stuff, you know, covering your shoes. Anyway, let me go on. Recruitment program. So basically the recruitment program will go like this. Say we have 4 teams and each one of us would be in charge of a team. We love everybody and we trust everybody, you know, good, you know, but we'd kind of keep our eyes open, you know. If somebody just run off with 10 or 15, but there's no problem. But all of it, you know. So we'll work on 4 teams and we'll have, you know, we would all be a team manager. You know, that'll be the ideal point. We got from now to Ramadan to perfect this, because that's what this time is. This is you know, not an experimental period because we done been through all of this too many times before, but it's just like a nice trial period. That's what it is. So we're going to re-engage with the Ummah. Improve fundraising. By the time Eid come, it'll be professional. And we'll divide up. Pre-Eid is what we're doing now, preparing for that. And post-Eid would be on a higher level. We assume that we will have evolved to a higher level. If you listen, you'll see that there are not like time limits, but we're more structured as far as time. Before, we did all this planning and editing, but we didn't put a time on things. And other people say, well, that's first thing. They say, you got to have a time limit for you. Well, and we did very well because we left the time up to Allah. By the gift of time, as it has unfolded through the ages, recording man's successes and failures, surely man is in a state of loss, except those who believe and do good, join together in the mutual teachings of truth, patience, and constancy. That's my favorite translation of Wallace. By the gift of time, as it has unfolded itself through the ages, recording man's successes and failures. Surely man is in a state of loss. Okay. Let's get back and wrap up. So our recruitment program, because where we are now, that we're not going to stay here, like we say. So after I make up a few more things, I'll just fill up my car with water and I'll be driving around to wherever I can go. Because that's the period we're in. Easy exposure cycle, Scribe Battle Place, Space 2022. Clown, embarrass Saudi American Zionists, their line and their position. So we're going to clown them. We're not going to sit there trying to explain nothing to them. I estimate that I have one more cycle after this. Just passed through a 20-year cycle. This time, acceleration, possible 10-year minimum. Okay, so that's what we're estimating on this cycle. The last cycle was a 20-year. So if we talk, we always go back to 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when we had our last 2002, when we had our last, we called it program. But that, it's set in our mind that that's it for this stuff. But it was 2005 before we started talking about, certain very serious subjects. Okay. PTG. Okay. So that's the growth syndrome thing. And they're all hung up on, what do they call it? Post-traumatic something other syndrome. No, we're calling it what the thinking white folks call it and what we call it. Post-traumatic growth. Everything we went through the last 20 years would have knocked anybody out of the box. I mean, any study of movements would have knocked anybody out of the box. Technically, it did. Anybody that was left over or hanging around the box, they got knocked out. The only one left is us. This is just my opinion. The only one left for us that's functional, and we used all that time to evolve. Everything in it was part of the evolution. We could turn the heat back on if anybody just wants to. If not, we just freeze to death. It's no problem. So anyway, okay. Evolution to revolution. We went from revolution back to evolution. Now we're going to evolution, where we are now, evolving, so to revolution. But we don't want it to be a traumatic, all of a sudden change. It's not going to be a traumatic, all of it. It could be traumatic. But Allah has given us a chance to prepare for that period. We wrote about this over 10 years ago. That we want to be on the team that's part of the evolution that moves into helping develop a process of transformation that the human being don't kill each other, everybody. You got, believe it or not, this is going to be a chaotic, strange period. that we're going through. It's already that. You know the stuff that's going down now, it would have run people crazy 10, 20 years ago, and they're going through it now like, oh, this is normal. To have a president challenge the election, think about 10 years ago. You're challenging an American election? They'd have strung him up. And now the guy's doing it. But remember what we said when Trump come on the line. We said, Trump gone destroy the Republican Party. Then we said, what? He's going to destroy the whole system of America. That's where he's headed. That's what he's doing. It don't make no difference who sent him. It don't. He's on a roll. You can't stop him. He's on a roll.